Okay, one thing I think people might think about relative to this is, okay, maybe this will be good for Crossroads, but is this zero sum? Is what is good for Crossroads a subtraction from High Point? And are we really risking High Point to do Crossroads? Like on one level, you could say there is some risk, but on some level, that will help us. The language I've used with the staff is High Point has been a very faithful church.
Yeah.
And I feel like God is calling us to add to our faithfulness faith, like the ability to not just steward well, but risk also towards what he's asked us to do, especially when the providences seem good. Right. And in this case, I think it's a really clear situation where it's time to add faith to faithfulness. Right.
And we're risking against God in what he's told us to do.
Yeah. And the downside here is real low. I mean, like there's little downside, a lot of upside. Like God has actually given us I think, a really doable step of faith for us. But I think there's still this question of, is it going to be good for High Point? And I think that there are a couple ways it could be difficult for us or bad for us, i.e. like it could mean we don't get carpets for another year or two. Yeah. Like there's some things like that where like, there's been ways we've deferred here at High Point, especially in some financial ways, by trying to be generous and to do something that could cause us to defer even longer. Like that doesn't feel great. However, one of the metaphors I've used for this is like when a parent has their first child.
Right.
It's like you're never really ready. Right. But I actually think the things that it'll take us to do it here actually will make us better here. That like us expressing faith, us like giving financially, us like actually letting some of our families go, that we've relied on some of our best volunteers so that more people will step up here. And frankly, just the joy of birthing. Like they call churches that plant churches the mother church. Like the joy of birthing a church and being like, we were part of that is joy you carry with you the rest of your life.
There's another factor too, and I think it is to do with that. When you have a child, you have no idea how much your household's going to change, but often it changes to a joyful thing. You watch that child and all of a sudden there's this desire for another one. And often in church planting and successful planting, the other will grow and the mother church sees the growth and it causes the mother church to get evangelistic, to say, we want that to happen here. We want to see God move here. And because it's a little bit more evident sometimes in a smaller setting because everybody knows everybody.
Yeah. And also new churches, because they're newer, they have more freedom to be innovative and to try stuff. And then sometimes you'll plant that church and then they'll try stuff because they just got to do something or they won't be open.
Right.
And then it really works. And then we know them. And all of a sudden we're like, oh, we should do that.
We can do that.
And then we add it. And a lot of innovations in established churches like ours come from the church plants.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. So my belief is that this could be really good for High Point West Side, this campus and the people who worship here on numerous levels, both the joy of having accomplished something, us gathering in solidarity to do something together, and also just kind of like what it does in us, and then the feedback of what's successful there. I think for all those reasons, it could be good for us. And also, I think it just brings upon us the blessing of God.
Yeah.
I think us being generous with other churches and people in our area, and even putting off things we would like to do for ourselves, there's stuff we haven't done. It also, I think, has brought us the blessing of God and the trust of our brothers and sisters. Yeah. And so I think that there's lots of benefits here.
I mean, to the point where two churches that we didn't work directly with on their Sunday morning program or anything knew we were faithful and loved the gospel and would steward what they had well. Yeah. That's a lot of trust.